Hey fellow problem solvers, Colfax Math here. Today we're going to do an ASVAB practice arithmetic reasoning math test. I'd highly recommend you have a notebook out in front of you and pencil, and you pause the video, do the problems, unpause the video, and watch how I solve them. You can find more information with this app right here. You can download it on your phone and keep studying. The more you study, the better you do. All right, first problem. Aviation gasoline weighs 45 pounds per cubic foot. I'd write these as proper fractions. So I do pounds per cubic foot so that we could cancel units. Or 6 pounds a gallon. 6 pounds a gallon. So that means 1 gallon is equal to 6 pounds. These things are equal, so I could put them either way. And then the reason why I put pounds down here is so they could cancel with that. There's 10 cubic feet of aviation fuel. So I have to multiply that by 10 cubic feet. Aviation gasoline weighs this much. How many gallons? So we're looking for gallons. Let's see if all of our units cancel and leaves us with gallons. Cubic feet cancels with cubic feet. Pounds with pounds. And the only unit left is going to be gallons, and that's what we wanted. So we do 45 times 10, 450 divided by 6. So 450 divided by 6. 6 goes into 45 7 times to give me 42. 6 goes into 35 times. So correct answer, 75 gallons. So this unit cancel. The key to this problem is that you're able to set it up so that your units will cancel and give you the units that you want. Problem number 2, an equilateral triangle has the same perimeter as a square. So let's draw this out. Equilateral triangle means all 3 sides are the same, has the same perimeter as a square whose side is 24. What is the length of each side of the triangle? So this is what we're looking for. Each side of the triangle. We know they're all the same, so they all have to be equal to x. And then if this is a square as well, all sides are the same. That's the definition of a square. So 24 and 24, 48. 48 and 48, 96. So the perimeter all the way around here is 96. And then the perimeter all the way around here is equal to that. So that means x plus x plus x. 3x is equal to 96. Divide both sides by 3 to get x by itself. 96 divided by 3 is 32. Or I could do it this way, 96 divided by 3. 3 goes into 9 3 times. Bring down the 6. 3 goes into 6 twice, and I get 32. We just double check the wording. What is the length of the side of the triangle? And the correct answer is 32. Number 3, how long will it take to earn $600 interest if you invest $2,500 at 6% interest? So this is 6%. Think of this thing as an arrow going over 1, 2 to give me 0.06. So I'm looking for interest. I'm looking for time to earn $600 in interest. My equation is interest is equal to principal times the rate times the time. That's simple interest. So how long will it take to earn $600 interest? So 600 goes in here, equals principal $2,500, rate times 0.06 times time. And that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for time. It says how long will it take? So we're looking for time. I have one equation, one variable, so I could solve that. I could get t by itself, but I think I'm going to do this. Problem number 4, what is the average of these three fractions? Average, the notation is add up all of the values. Add up, that's the Greek letter sum. Add up all of the values, divide by the number of values. So that just means add everything of the values, divide by the number of values. So I got to add all these three fractions together. Before I add or subtract fractions, I have to have a common denominator. I'm looking for a number that 2, 4, and 6 go into. That would be 12, the only one that would work. So I'm going to multiply each one of these fractions by a ratio of 1 to get a common denominator of 12 without changing the value of it. So I'm going to multiply this half by 6 over 6. That's equal to 1. That'll give me 6 twelfths. This one I'm going to multiply by 3 over 3. That'll give me the 12. But again, 3 over 3 is equal to 1. Doesn't change the value. So that's going to be 3 twelfths. And then the 1/6, I'm going to multiply by 2 over 2. Again, equal to 1. Doesn't change the value, but it gives me that common denominator. Now that I have that common denominator, I could add all three together. 6 plus 3, 9, plus 2, 11. And that gives me 11 twelfths. So the sum of those three fractions is 11 twelfths. Now I have to divide that by 3, or same thing as multiplying by a third is the same thing as dividing, right? 11 twelfths divided by 3 is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. Nothing's going to cancel. That's going to give me 11/36. Equal to 11 over 36. 12 times 3 is 36, 11 times 1. Not an easy problem, quite a few steps there. First thing you have to know is the definition of average. Add all the values up, divide by the number of values. Then you got to add these fractions together with common denominators, and then divide, which is multiplying by a reciprocal. Problem number 5. A plumber charges $45 for a service call plus $25 per hour that he works at the house. If he conducts a service call that takes 3 hours, what is the customer's bill? So no matter what, he has to charge $45, whether he works a second or not. So that's a flat fee. And then $25 per hour, right? So $25 per hour. And he works for 3 hours. So I just multiply that by 3 hours. Again, my units cancel. That gives me 3 times 25. Problem number 6. Out of 80 t-shirts, 10% are white. So I got a total number of shirts, 80. 10% of those are white. So I'm going to take that 10, multiply by 80, which is just going to move that over. So I have 8 white t-shirts. 30% are blue. 30% are blue. So I take that 30.3, 30% times that, 3 times 8, it's going to give me 24. So I got 24 blue, and the rest are red. How many t-shirts are red? So how many are red? So I got a total of 80. I got 8 white, 24 blue. How many red? So 8 plus 24 plus x equals 80. 8 plus 24, 32 plus x equal 80. Subtract 32 from both sides. What is that? 48. 48 red t-shirts. Biggest part of the problem is really just being able to convert that sentence into like a diagram. And then once you do that, it's pretty easy to figure out once you have your percents. All right, problem number 7. What is the total thickness when 3 pieces of wood, 1/2, 5/6, and 7/8 are joined together? Well, again, it's going to be adding fractions. I need a common denominator. I'm looking for a number that 2 goes into, 6 goes into, and 8. 12 won't work. 12, 24, they'll all go into 24. So I got to multiply this by 12 over 12. That's going to give me 12 over 24. This one, to get to 24, I multiply by 4 over 4. That's going to give me 20 over 24. To get this to a 24, I need to multiply it by 3 over 3, right? That'll give me a 24. Multiplying by 1 doesn't affect the value. So that's 7 times 3, 21 over 24. Have that common denominator, add across the top. 41, 51, 53. 53 over that common denominator, 24. Kind of a funny number to leave like that if you're working with wood. So I could see that 24 would go into 53 twice. That would give me 48. 48 to 53 is 5 24ths. See if I can reduce that fraction at all. I can't. So there's my answer right there, 2 and 5 24ths. Problem number 8. A small store sold $26,500. $20,000 was paid for the building and goods. The remainder was paid for its land value at $50 per square foot. How many square feet? So we have this total amount minus this amount. That's going to give us $6,500. And then this is a rate of $50 per square foot, and we want to know how many square feet. So I'm going to see how many times 50 goes into the remaining amount after I subtract 20,000 from 26,500. The way I could do this, I just drop a 0 off of each. 5 goes into 6 one time. 1, 5. 15 goes in there 3 times. 15. 0, 0. And goes in there 0 times. So 6,500 divided by 50 is 130 square feet. Number 9, on Monday, the water was shut off 3 times for a quarter hour, 2/3 of an hour, 1 3/4 of an hour. How long was the water shut off for? Well, that's going to be the sum of those 3 fractions. So I have 1/4, 1 2/3, and 1 3/4. I'm going to turn that into improper fraction first. 1 times 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. So I have 7/4. That's the same as 1 3/4. To add fractions, I need a common denominator. That common denominator is going to be 12. It's the number that those numbers will go into. To get this to a 12, I multiply by 1 so as not to affect the value. Right? 3 over 3 is the equivalent of 1. That's going to give me 3 over 12. This I have to multiply by 4 over 4. That's going to give me 8 over 12. And this one I'm going to have to multiply by 3 over 3 to give me 21 over 12. Now I have that common denominator. I'm going to add across the top. Keep that common denominator the same. 11, 3 plus 8 is 11. 11 and 21 is 32 over 12. I could reduce that, turn it into a mixed number. I think first thing I'll do is reduce it. 2 goes into there 16 times. 2 goes into there 6 times. I could cut them in half again. They're both even to get 8 over 3. Now that I have 8/3, 3 goes into 8 twice. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2 with 2 left over. So I have 2 and 2/3. Problem 10 right here. A photograph is 8 inches and 6 inches. So I have 8 inches by 6 inches. If it is enlarged to 12 inches, how wide is it? So these are similar shapes. So I got to figure out from 8 to 12 8 times 1.5 gives me 12. 6 times 1.5 gives me 9. So the answer is going to be 9 inches. If you're new to the channel, think about subscribing. If you have any questions on these problems, please post them in the comments and I'll try and get to them as soon as I can. We just got a couple problems more, so stick with me and we'll get these done. The more you study, the better you do. Problem number 11. If 36 people can fit in one bus and there are 144 people to carry them, how many buses are needed to carry every person? So I have 36 people per bus, right? And I got 144 people. So I'm going to do the 144 divided by 36 to figure out how many buses I need. It's a no calculator test. It looks like it's just going to go 36 times 2 is 72. 72 times 2 is 144. So I could see I'm going to need 4 buses. Problem number 12, the regular cost of a movie ticket is $13.50. If it is on sale for 60% off, remember that arrow shooting it over, right? Shooting it over 1, 2. So 60% off. What is the cost of the movie ticket now? So we could do that dollar amount, multiply it by 0.6, and figure out how much off it is, and then subtract that from $13.50. Or we could just do 1 minus 0.6 to get 0.4, and then take that 0.4 and multiply it by $13.50. So I have $13.50 times 0.4. I'm going to multiply those together. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry the 2. 4 times 3 is 12. 13, 14. Carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus that 1 is 5. Then I count over 1, 2, 3. So I got to go over 1, 2, 3. And the remaining price of the ticket, if it is 60% off, is $5.40. Don't need that 0 on there. Okay, hopefully that was a helpful test for you. If you need more practice, you could download this app right here, and there's a lot more practice tests and support there if you need it. Thank you for watching.